welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. I'm gonna go back to doing this. I think it kind of shows what my blood sugars are, and that's one of the reasons why we're doing this. So I thought we'd bring this back. Current blood sugar is at 7.4. I went quite high last night, and it's brought me down in the morning. Even after breakfast, I'm still sitting at 7.4. So that's good. I have 0.675 units of insulin left. So, all in all, pretty good. Next, current blood sugar, we're sitting at 77%. That's still acceptable, but I can do better. Personally, I can do better. 23% above 10. Oh, sorry, it's the lens here. I don't know why it's showing. 77% in range, 3.9. Average sugar went up to 8.4. Today, we're going to discuss backup insulin. So sit back, relax, and we'll be right back. Okay, I cleaned the lens. You look a little bit better. Okay, what exactly is backup insulin? It's not sort of like, well, you take more insulin to back up the insulin that's in your system. No, that's not what it is at all. To me, backup insulin can refer to any of your supplies that you always have a backup. If you think you have enough, times what you think you have by 1.5, and that should be the amount that you should be carrying of insulin, of pump supplies, needles, syringes, proper. And why is that? Well, I've told this story before, but it kind of illustrates this point. We were supposed to move, and we had given notice when I was living with my sister. We gave notice at this one place, and that was fine. We packed up, we went to this new place, and we showed up with all our belongings, and we couldn't move in. The suite wasn't available as at that point. It was going to be, I think, the next day or it was some, just crossing over that someone got their wires crossed or whatever. So I went with my sister's boyfriend to stay at his place, and my sister went to stay at the apartment that we used to live in. I don't know, it was crazy. Anyway, I went there, but everything was packed, remember? And I woke up the next day. I had my insulin. Or no, we didn't even have insulin. I had to go buy insulin, but I couldn't get syringes. So I had to purchase, all right, we had to go to the hospital to get syringes. So you always have to contingency plan. That's the down part about this diabetes. We always sort of have to plan out of the box where things you didn't think were going to happen. I didn't really take that under advisement when we finally moved out here. Well, I knew the place I was coming to, but I had insulin, but it was still all packed away. But I knew the place. They had phoned and said, "Are you coming?" So I knew I had the place here. Somehow I knew I could get insulin. I had my file changed over to the shoppers out here, so everything was satisfactory. I really didn't take any protocol. Once here, I got centered, I got where I could get my supplies in, and now I have enough supplies. And I know that if I don't have tubes or anything I need, I can get pretty quickly, whether from the drugstore or from the pharmacy here on site. So, but most people don't have that luxury. So, I always suggest having 1.5 at least. One backup, and then 0.5 the amount that you're going to need more. And always err on the side of caution. Excuse me. Always have more insulin than what you need. Because if you don't, things are going to be well, you're going to run into problems and then the panic. And if you're anything like me, the whole panic will be, oh, can I get this? Can I get it? Oh, I've got it. Oh, no, where can I get this? So, always be prepared. Gee, that sounds like a children's organization. Be prepared. But it sits here truthfully. So, for the month, the nurses have my insulin, but when I was at home, I'd always have 3 bottles of insulin. And when I used a bottle, I ordered a new one from the pharmacy. I just got into that system. If I got once a month, I do a count of like all my tubing and the reservoirs I need for my pump, and I counted that out. And then I'd figure out how much I'd use, times that by 1.5, and I ordered more. I had a service dog for a while. When I went to get my service dog, we had to fly to the Toronto area. Actually, I think it was Oakville, Ontario. And we flew in, and then they took us to this place. But we had to bring all my medications, so I counted that I'm going to be gone this long, times that how many bottles I would normally use, times that by 1.5. I had extra luggage. I contacted the airline, got that all over, and I went. I utilized the supplies. Didn't have a problem whatsoever. But if I had just said, okay, this is how much insulin I need, without timesing it, flew into Ontario, I wouldn't. I know where to find stuff. Being from BC, I'd be in a different healthcare, different province. I would have run into problems, but luckily I didn't have to worry about it. So, times what you need and then times 1.5. So, let's say during a month you use one bottle of insulin. You would need 1 plus 1 plus a half. But I would say then you would need to have the one you're using, and then you would need to have 2 more in stock. This goes every single day. It's not meant as just a one-time thing. I use that as an illustration, but it's not meant to be a one-time thing. It's important that you keep things in mind and always keep things as such. Come up with a system that works well for you. For me, I devised it out of an old ordering system we had for a store I used to work at. And I just adapted it to my lifestyle. Even though I could phone my pharmacy and say, hey, I'm short, I need it. I don't like my whole life to be, oh, I'm low. I've got to find insulin. I'm low on insulin. I'd rather go to the fridge, open it up, take the insulin I need, and that's that. And that's pretty much how I'd always lived my life with diabetes. I'd learned the hard way, and sometimes you have to learn from the hard way yourself. But just take it, just come up with a plan things out, and hopefully it'll all work for the best. With that, have a great day, and we'll talk again soon. Bye now. My email address is mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com. All one line. Drop me